So, we've come together to talk about the niggly things in everyday working life, from work to work socials, work-life balance, challenges in the work life. With the diverse journeys and backgrounds in technology, we are here to talk about the obvious and the not so obvious, subjects both large and small. Hi, I'm Navida.
Toby.
Hi, I'm Sally Ann.
Welcome to 42.
42. Came up with this name for our group. Would you like to tell everyone some background behind the name?
I'd love to. So, why 42? We discussed what would be a more fitting name based around the subject of work and life. It made me think about the answer to life is 42, as in the answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything. So, I proposed that. Most of us spend the majority of our adult life at work. For some, it's okay, and work is what makes them feel like they're contributing to the world or their organisation. Whichever it is for you, I think the most important thing is that you at least enjoy in some way what you do for work. So, yeah, it just felt right to talk about it as 42.
Toby, do you want to kind of narrow it down to us? When AI comes to your mind, where do you want to go with it right now?
Well, I mean, for me, I suppose if we're in our little IT sphere, AI represents sort of two sides of the coin. One is the AI you can put into products that companies sell to the marketplace. It would be how AI can help you in your job doing in what you're doing. So for me, as an engineering manager slash coder, truly amazing how it can help you do your coding. And you're always going to get the naysayers, like the Luddites, who say that I don't need AI coding, I can do it myself. I've had a dabble with it and it wasn't great when it started with ChatGPT. It's come on so fast, so quickly. I'm using it in my little apps and websites that I'm creating. You're there like a product owner these days. You're telling it what you want to do. You can just tell it how to do stuff and it will go off and do all the coding for you. So people who say that's not going to happen is just their heads in the sand, isn't it? But it's going to make a lot of people redundant. It's going to affect the economy. It's going to affect everything.
AI's been one of them. So one of the things I did explore was creating a website from scratch. When I'm talking about using a web studio to create web pages, and it was amazing what it could do in the amount of time I could do it. But for somebody who's not technically savvy to do it, I don't think they can. But somebody who is technically savvy, you can do amazing amount of work. AI basically opens up things for you that you wouldn't have been able to do on your own without 10 years of experience, if you like. But is that AI? Is it just automation? Because there's an intelligence. You think it's AI.
It's a lot. It's not just automation, is it? I mean, it's creating new things. If you look at the medical world, groundbreaking stuff they're doing there, even in coding, you can see it. You know, it's coming up with new ideas and new ways of doing stuff, even if it's only using, existing ideas that are already on the internet. The internet is so vast these days.
It allows you access to knowledge that you didn't have before. So it's an extension, yeah? So, okay, I knew about websites, so I kind of knew what to expect and ask of AI. Basically, AI did a lot for me. At the moment, what we're seeing is tech helping things happen faster, not intelligence.
That's one very sort of kind of one-dimensional way of viewing it, in a sense that, yes, it makes things faster, and yes, it provides people with knowledge that they wouldn't necessarily have had before, and in a much faster way. But if I may, I am not as technical as Toby by any sense. I'm an application specialist, analyst, whatever. So I'm dealing with very specific third-party applications. From a work point of view, don't get to use it in any fancy coding. I don't need it for websites or anything like that. The way I've used it so far at work has been sort of very kind of low-tech. From the ways like, if I want to write an email to a group of people, and I'm a little concerned about how I should word, because I think I'm quite eloquent, but sometimes I'm too wordy. So I'm aware of that. I just put it into there and saying, but can you please make this simpler, more to the point, whilst getting this element across? It will come back very politely. I do love how polite it is. Come back very politely with its first, draft of what it thinks you want. And then over a series of attempts, sometimes they might nail it first time, usually not. And you then learn, well, what else do I need to tell it to get exactly what it needs to be? And I think that's something that we should all be mindful of, that if you're going to use it for whatever reason, and I'm not meaning coding and things where you're talking about, numbers and strings of data and stuff like that, but where you're using it for more textual type things, mindful that you don't use it instead of yourself. You use it to help you to get to a goal. Now, just a little warning where I have used it because I have been lazy. So I got a little bit too confident about its knowledge, and I asked it a question that was about one of the applications that I work with, rather than go to the vendor and ask the question, because I'm like, oh, it's going to take them ages to answer this question. So I'm just going to ask, in my case, Copilot, what the answer is, and it came back with the answer, and I thought, yeah, that sounds about right. And I passed the answer on to the person who'd asked me the question, and then that got passed on in an email. And it occurred to me that potentially I hadn't got all the information I needed when the person asked me the question. While it was correct, there was a part missing, and that was my fault, not its fault, because I wasn't fully aware of all of the nuances. So again, a word of caution. It gave me the right answer, but not necessarily everything I needed about that answer.
Yeah, definitely. So I have used it in exactly the same way as yourself for emails. Said make it more formal or make it more friendly, because it's a bit of a sensitive topic. So changing the tone in an email, you have to give it something to start with. So instead of so it does save time. And also, I think it's great at taking lots of different documents and summarizing for you.
Yes, I've done that.
Just get you dumping your notes in. But you're right. You have to validate what it's produced. You can't just run with it. I had a friend who's recently, she's looking for a new job, and she goes, you know what? I'm going to take time out and learn AI. I told her, don't do that. I said, go back into your job, because you know your job. When you use AI, you'll know how to use it because you know the job. You don't learn AI in the absence of some sort of experience to use it.
Well, if she didn't have a job, then the ideal use case would be to use AI to get her CV up to scratch and to write cover letters for all the jobs that she needs to apply to.
Yep.
And then she'll realise that the art is in styling the prompt that you give to the LLM.
Yeah, absolutely. Instead of going to a person, you now have got a friend at home all the time that's ready to help you.
Have to tell you this. My 82-year-old mother loves computers. She came late to them in life, but she really embraced them, and she loves everything about the internet and computers. She now calls Copilot her new best friend.
It is so, isn't it? He's finding someone to help you. I am trying to write a book, and my first thing was, great, I'll write a book, I'll just dump everything down, and AI can shape it for me and give it that J.K. Rowling look or whatever, yeah? My daughter, who's one of the main reasons I'm doing it, she said, no, don't use AI, they've got to be your words. And I thought, oh my God, it's more effort, right? So you have to do that. So I'm using AI in a very minor way, but it is very powerful. And behind that power, there's a cost.
Yes.
Now that we're talking about it, and I'm thinking some of the things I've thrown at it, which I would have gone and talked to someone. Instead, I'm probably burning a tree somewhere out there. But what do you do? Because then you could say that applies to everything in life that we're doing. I don't know. It's a difficult one for me to come to terms with. AI is great because it really is opening so many doors. Maybe not automation. I definitely don't think it's intelligence. I think it's a speed, a friend. It's like giving you extra pair of hands and an extra brain to do some extra thinking. It's giving you extra capacity.
It does have intelligence because it's of all the knowledge that's being fed into it. It's a form of intelligence. I think the other subject here is like whether it's passive intelligence or whether it's...
There's a drive to do something called artificial general intelligence or something to make it more human-like, because AI never creates something new. It builds on what it already has in its banks, if you like.
I don't want it to be more human-like. That's the part of it that scares me, because
but the intelligence isn't intelligence the part.
So
that
when you
scares
say it
people.
doesn't create anything new, you could say it's always creating something new. I mean, all the words it's coming back with to help you, they're not from a library bank of, if Naveed asks me this question, I shall respond with this text. It's creating it all of the time. So nothing
Also,
is new. What is your definition of intelligence? If you're saying intelligence is because it's self-aware, well then,
self-aware, that's it.
yeah, well, what, we don't even know what self-aware is, to be honest.
No, and I know a lot of humans who aren't self-aware, so who reach a judge. Talking about creating something new, it does absolutely create new things. And look at all the people that use it to create new music. I've used it to create pictures that you would never find anywhere else on the internet, and nobody else would have ever created it. It's a brand new thing.
The person who's actually doing the creating is the one who's interacting with the AI. What AI is doing is giving you that extra capacity, the knowledge that you wouldn't have had at the tip of your fingertips, the speed that you wouldn't have had. If you're an able thinker, then you can use this tool to help you do wonderful big things, okay? If you don't have the capacity to use the tool will do nothing. The tool will create nothing.
I used it to create a picture, and I've had it printed on a cushion. I've had it as my Facebook profile picture. Could I copyright that? The same with music. Do these people copyright the music because they fed the tool to produce the music?
So
Is there
people are
anything else?
releasing to Spotify. There's hundreds of thousands of songs now on Spotify that have been AI generated, and people can license it and get royalties for it.
A lot of the stuff that's gone into the background to this AI started, God knows, years ago. I mean, I remember a time when people were saying that they're paying people where it was cheaper to employ people to basically go through lots of pictures. This is part of the training the model. Pictures of cats and dogs and cars and roads, and they're training, whether it's medical side, all those images and recognizing a tumor. So all that kind of stuff's been going on in the background, and now we're benefiting from all that future sight that somebody had to provide all that information into this area.
But to get philosophical about it, isn't every musician using other people's music as their source
they're
material?
based on
If you
so
came into the world
finite amount
and
of
you'd
notes
never heard music
you'd-
before, how would you create a song?
Yeah.
No,
So,
that's a good point.
it's just like when you're writing your autobiography, where's your source material? You've read books before, you know what a book is, you know how to write. That's through your
Well,
learning.
in my case, it'd be my life experience. So hopefully my book is the first one on it.
To write a book which is interesting.
Yeah, there's some basic skills there, isn't it? So, yeah, it's an interesting time where it's opening up so many doors for people that just wouldn't have those resources to do things themselves. It's an amazing time that we're in. A lot of change. Apparently this is just the start, and there's more to come.
It's both exciting and scary where this could go in my lifetime as well, because I mean, look at the technological advancements in the last 20 years itself. So I'm hoping I'll be around for another 20 years, and I sort of imagine myself as a little old lady sat on a sofa with a VR on, enjoying myself, on a roller coaster or taking a walk on beaches, but just from my sofa.
There's plenty of YouTube videos about on the future of AI. In only 2 to 3 years, it's going to be more intelligent than any human on general intelligence. So, fundamentally, it's absolutely, completely changing everything that we have now, to be honest.
It's using it faster. It's making connections that we as humans probably couldn't make because we haven't, got access to all that information. And it's answering your questions. So the intelligence comes from the human, and the artificial intelligence enables you to do something you maybe wouldn't have been able to do beforehand.
So, I mean,
or years to do.
These models, these LLMs, if you could think about it, they're in a dark box. They haven't got any senses. They can't smell. They can't hear. They can't see. So, and then you're asking them questions. What's going to happen when they enable an LLM into a robot that can see and hear and speak? Where do you think that's going to stop it? It can then go out and explore. It can then be creative in itself without interacting with any human.
I've always believed that science fiction or life follows science fiction. So with science fiction, we dream about the possibilities and we bring them to life in film, if you like. So we say, like, this is what I can imagine is going to happen in the future, and here's an extremely good film to show me. So I've always believed that we follow science fiction. So you can take that to its ultimate conclusion. Science fiction has said on many occasions, just look at Terminator films, that once it realizes this, we will be superfluous to requirements. And I kind of think that's what's going to happen. So basically, either way, we're agreeing that at some point we'll just be destroyed either by ourselves, really.
Be a stop. So there'll be a limit with AI.
But they stopped us cloning human beings, didn't they? So they can't create another Navida or another Salian.
I bet someone out
from
there's got
yourself.
the money to do it and probably had a go. But anyway, it'd be interesting to find
There
out.
are people out there cloning people's pets, by the way. I saw a program about it recently.
Okay, here's a couple of scenarios. Yeah, an AI robot that works in a care home. We probably already have robots that deliver medicine, right? And at the moment, that medicine being delivered has been keyed in by a human. The clinical notes have gone in. A human's decided what medicine to give that patient. Will we ever have the capacity in the computer to capture all the clinical notes, and for the computer to decide on the medicine to give to the patient without any human intervention?
I can foresee people wanting an AI operative to be giving them their medicine because it's less error prone than if a human did it. Similarly, driving cars, it's going to very near future, and obviously it already is, self-driving cars. They say, a self-driving car crashed today, and it's like one in 500,000 trips or something an AI makes. How many times does a human crash the car? Would you prefer to be in a taxi driven by a human who could have had a bad day, not slept over the previous night, had a row with his wife or whatever, or husband, and then driving out and quite easily kill them both in a crash? Or would you prefer a machine to drive you, which is been tested beyond belief more safely?
Yes. Yeah. So I think there's two sides to that. There is, have we got the capacity to take AI to that extreme where, we've got driverless cars now, but will everybody have a driverless car? Because have we got the physical resources to create a driverless car for everyone, or the infrastructure?
Once the technology has been invented, it's only a matter of time before it's rolled out. That's the significant thing.
The resources.
We're going to have AI potentially take over in a few years' time. Economically, it's going to take a while for that to roll out to everyday things.
Okay, so on one hand,
exactly.
On one hand, you've got your resourcing, whether we've got the capacity with the resources. On the other hand, so say, going back to the example where the robot has now got all the clinical information it needs about me for whatever reason, all my life, it's collected everything it knows about me, and it's going to tell me, actually, you know what, with the recent test results, I think an AI will prompt you to say, you haven't had a test recently, go and get your blood test. I still have to take that test result out, the blood out of me. There's still going to be some human supporting. And then once AI has got my sample and done the test, AI can then recommend a course of action.
AI will probably, once it has your blood sample, will be able to tell you when you're going to die, because it can do that already.
Yeah, okay. So it can give me a life expectancy, all great stuff. Now, where else can it go? It's done that. It's told me when I'm going to die. It's going to tell me what medicine I need. There's a limit to the use cases AI can do as well.
Then it can work out, it knows how you're going to die. So then it can work out, how can it fix the disease that you're going to die of?
Okay, so it fixes my disease. And we're saying that AI could potentially, can extend my life to 200. We go back to the resources.
Why not?
And we don't need that many people on Earth because there's,
The problem with all of those things is that there will be people that own that. So it won't be available to all of us. And it will change.
Exactly. There's plenty of movies whereby you got the haves and the have-nots, and the will be the people in the streets where they had a time limit to die, and they constantly had to scan their barcode on their wrist or whatever to get a life extension, and they had to work to pay for that life extension. I can't see why it wouldn't be something like that, because as you say, you got the Elon Musks and so on, and they're going to be the haves and there's going to be the have-nots.
Life imitating art. So please give us a thumbs up become a patron, show us your support, and hopefully we'll come back with a few more, well, a lot more podcasts, maybe with a bit of help from AI.